John's first major band, which was the Art Woods, very heavily blues-based band, but he was using the Hammond in a very, very similar way that he brought into Deep Purple. And really, it was just learning to deal with the extra volume and the slightly different way of creating music that he had to adjust to. But that is an amazing instrument. It just gives you a sound that nothing else gives.
Just after Ian and Roger joined the band, and indeed slightly before that, I'd become aware that the sound I was getting from the basic big piece of furniture here, you know, this lovely C or B3 that I was playing, and a Leslie speaker, lovely a sound as it was, it wasn't quite giving me what I wanted. I could hear another sound in my head, something harder, something more throaty, and much as I love the sound of the regular Hammond-Leslie duo, it wasn't quite supporting Ritchie to where Ritchie was beginning to go.
I don't know any other keyboard player that plays quite the way John does. He's a rhythm organ player.
Ritchie doesn't like playing rhythm guitar. You know, why should he? He's a stunning technician, and you know, just to play bong, dong, 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 dong is not really up his street. And I don't blame him for that. But it meant that somebody had to do it occasionally. So I was doing that, and on a regular Hammond organ, he said, kicking the organ, on a regular Hammond organ, what we've got is you know, a little bit. It's a little bit, you know, noddy, if you're not careful. And while this is it's a lovely sound, it's got plenty of character, and it's a Hammond organ, but it wasn't quite Deep Purple.
Ritchie had such a vicious sound that the Hammond sound really didn't come close to it. It didn't match it.
So I discussed with a technician that I was working with at the time the possibility of tapping straight in to the Hammond and putting it through a straight speaker. And that seemed like a feasible idea until I realized that I'd sort of uncaged a beast, because in its guise with the Leslie, the Hammond organ is a beautiful machine to play. I mean, it's a great big burly beast in a way, but it's controllable, and it's got all kinds of sophisticated differences in sound, all these tiny little gradations that you can get on the drawbars, you know, that give you slight differences in sound. They're all wonderful to play with. You tap straight in and put it through a straight speaker, and you get a beast. And that's the task I'd given myself, was to play with some sensitivity and feeling with that sound.
Machine Head really, it kind of refined it to a point of perfection.
So here we got the solo John. There'll be two lead organ overdubs here. And there's the hump. There's the original harmony. The track.
And then it went into an improvised section, thus producing, I think, something genuinely different.
John's an instant man. He can't go soloing over the same thing and get something different. He's really of the moment. And when he plays a solo, usually his first stab, and he's a real Zen Archer soloist, the first one is it. And the more he plays, the less interesting he gets, and he knows this.
I've always enjoyed my solos, and what I do when I'm in the studio, because obviously most solos are overdubbed, you know, because you leave the hole in the backing track, and then at least you've got a chance to have a few goes at it. But if I haven't got it in about 3 or 4, then I quit for the day, you know, because otherwise you start playing. You maybe had one good phrase in a take, and you start playing that phrase because it was a good one. Well, that's not improvising, that's copying. And So I always try and get my solos done as quickly as possible. And there's therefore scattered through the Purple records are solos with warts and all, you know.